In the month of April, I picked up 42 Nintendo games, a Super Nintendo game, some McDonald's collectible Nintendo toys, and some Nintendo Power magazines. So this is going to be April pickups. This is everything I picked up in April. Let's take a look at it. So starting off, I got some Nintendo Power magazines. I ended up getting 3 Nintendo Power magazines. These I all picked up on Whatnot. Got these from the boys over at Pixel Game Squad. I said I wasn't going to do Nintendo Power magazines. I hesitated when I bought them. And then I got them and I was in love with them. I was shocked at how much nostalgia came out of opening one of these, because I haven't looked at one of these, oh God, in like 30 years. If you've watched some of my recent videos, you know that I was just recently playing Star Tropics. So when I saw the Star Tropics book, I absolutely had to get it. And this is awesome. It's got the poster. This is volume 21 in the Nintendo Power. I was just so happy when I opened this up and looked into it. It's got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade in it, which is really cool. I love the direction they took with the art style for Turtles in the magazine here. It would have been fun to have this one back in the day. I can just imagine playing the game and flipping through this, figuring it all out as you were going. This was such a simple time that we got to live through when we had these magazines and these games. The skateboard action, I love Raphael on the skateboard. I love that image right there. That is so cool. The foot soldier throwing the tire, like, oh man, they did such a good job with these magazines. We've got the Stone Warriors, they've got Shredder, they've got Krang in the robot, and then they've got this cool little art piece of all the turtles at the bottom. This is so neat, so well done. They've also got Kabuki Quantum Fighter in here, which again, some really cool art. I love the way this is put together. Kabuki Quantum Fighter is a really cool game. It's absolutely a hidden gem. And having this as a kid, I can just imagine it would have been so much fun to play it and go through this. Then they've got this classified information, that top secret Nintendo Power. They talk about some of the other games. You've got the Immortals, they got Fall of Foot Clan, you got Crystallis, and then that big centerpiece, Star Tropics, that kind of walkthrough where they tell you all about the game as you go. Again, really well set up, really interesting and really neat stuff here. Look at that, they got the dolphin in here, they've got your submarine, the Sub-Sea, they've got the Navcom in here, they've got the enemies listed. This is so cool. These magazines are so cool. And then in the center, we've got the map, and we've got a Metal Storm poster. Like, how cool is that? I also picked up volume 23, which has Power Blade in it, and we'll talk about that momentarily. But just going back in time a little bit, opening these up, reading through them, and just enjoying every second of it. They've got this nice Power Blade setup in here, talks about the game, goes all through it. So cool. Such cool stuff here. I also got volume 24, which is Vice Project Doom. I love the colors on the outside of this one. I've said it before in a previous video. I think that this is such a cool look to the cover on this game. So cool. When we get into that, we have Vice Project Doom with that nice walkthrough. I think this is so cool. They've got all the stages. We've got the Lone Ranger in this one, which I've never played, but I'm glad to know I have that in here. And again, this one's got another poster in the center. This one's for Tailspin, and it is such a cool looking poster. Like, just so well done. So those are the Nintendo Powers that I picked up, kind of starting that off. Gonna start looking at those. I find these a little harder to come by around here, but you know what? I'm really excited to have these. I'm excited to go looking for these. Now, we were driving into the city. We were actually going game hunting, and we rolled up on a stoplight. Now, at this stoplight, we see a sign, and it says Vintage and Collectibles. And we were like, you know what? Let's go check it out. So after a little bit of driving around in the city, we finally found it. It's in like a storage building, which was kind of odd to us. So we go inside. I go inside. I check it out. And I'm thinking it's gonna be, it had a real feel that it was gonna be like automotive stuff. There was gonna be old car stuff like that. So I was like, I'll go check it out and I'll let you know if there's anything in there. So right when I walked in, I just got hit with the aroma of motor oil and engine stuff. And I thought, oh yeah, that's 100% what this is. And then I looked around and the whole one wall was like plushies and stuff. They had everything in there. So we're walking around looking through this store. I did notice on the way in that there was some McDonald's toys. And I did a little bit of walking around, come back to the front. I asked the lady at front, I said, do you have any like old video games? And she says, oh yeah, my son has some, and proceeds to call him up. As she's calling him and investigating if he has any old video games they're wanting to sell, I find these. Now these are Nintendo McDonald's Happy Meal toys. These are all in the bag. So this is the Koopa Troopa you can see here. You push this little thing and his legs kick, and then they've got this really cool artwork on the back. It says collect all 4. I looked in the box and all 4 of them were in there. Every one of them was sealed in the bag. The Goomba, the really cool, again, the Goomba artwork on the back there. We've got Luigi. We got the Luigi artwork. Luigi's like on a cloud. You pull this one back and he takes off running. He's got the star in his hand. And then they had the Mario with the little suction cup. He's got his little raccoon suit on. You push that down and he'd jump up when that lets go. And again, the cool Mario artwork on the back. Every one of them is in the bag. These are all sealed. I couldn't believe what I found. I asked how much they wanted for it, and she says, like 80 bucks. I was like, yeah, I guess I'm getting those. I looked it up on eBay, and they're definitely like $20 a pop, so I probably paid what they're worth. But I was so excited to get these. I had these as a kid. I had these 2 as a kid, the Koopa Troopa and the Luigi, and I always wanted the other ones, but we didn't go to McDonald's all that often as kids. We went a few times a year. We go see my grandma. Other than that, I didn't get to get all of them. So now I have all of them in my set, and I'm so excited to have all 4 of them in my collection.
Yo, John, Mickey D's.
Okay, thanks. Ah. Oh boy.
So after we left that like collectibles store, we went to a pawn shop in Red Deer, and I found Track and Field 2, added that to my collection. I picked up Back to the Future, added that horrible game to my collection. Honestly, this is so bad. A lot of these LJN ones, I'm like, oh, maybe they're not as bad as people make them out to be. No, this one, 100% as bad as everyone says it is. And then I saw this one that I honestly never seen before, and it is Orchestra's Ring. I think that might be how it's pronounced, Orchestra's Ring. This was a neat one. This was definitely the pick out of that store that I got. This is my favorite one out of that little pickup. So yeah, I was super lucky. I found a few games I didn't have. Most of the games they had in that pawn shop, I had every single one of them other than these 3. So those are the ones I grabbed. So after that, the next day we went to a toy show and met up with somebody that we'll look at that stuff a little later on in the video. Stick around to the end to see exactly what I got, the awesomeness that he had for me. If you haven't hit that like button for me, like over half of the people watching my videos aren't subscribed. So if you aren't subscribed and you're liking what you're seeing, please, I would really appreciate it if you'd subscribe. Trying to get to that 1,000 mark. We're at like 650 right now, so got a ways to go. But if you like what you see, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm gonna try to put out videos like this like every month. We'll look at the pickups. I try to play every game that comes into my collection. I don't play all the way through them, but I definitely play them and definitely talk about every single one of them. And I've got a bunch of other fun little videos that I do, so please consider subscribing if you're liking what you're seeing. So the following weekend, we went back to the city, went to Calgary, and did some game hunting there. Ended up going to Century Box, which is like a board game store in Calgary, but they do have video games as well. Ended up getting some games there. I got Freedom Force, which is a really cool light gun game. Now, I don't have the proper equipment set up right now to play these light gun games, but I'm gonna get that. That's definitely on my list. And this is supposed to be a really, really good light gun game, so I'm excited to play it and check it out. I also got Ultima, the Quest of the Avatar, which added to that little set. Got to get a few more Ultima games to finish off the set on the NES. Picked up another light gun game in Gumshoe here, another one that I, again, can't play, but I'm really excited to check out when I do get set up for that. And based off a comment on a video, I got Archon, which is like a battle chess style game. This is really cool. I'm really excited I got to get this and play this. And my pick of that set that I got at Century Box is gonna be Gunsmoke. I love Gunsmoke. I have so much fun playing this. I do have the turbo controls set up, so I just crank those on and just keep on shooting all the way through. And I really enjoy this game. Even without the turbos, it's super fun. Now after that, we went to Airdrie, Alberta, checked out Treasure Cove Collectibles. I do have a video about Treasure Cove. It should be here somewhere. Check that video out. And I ended up picking up some there. Also went to an antique mall in Airdrie and checked it out. Probably gonna try to get in there and do some videoing. Some of the stuff there was a little overpriced, but there was a couple booths that had good price games that I snatched up. So between those two stores in Airdrie, I got Jack Nicklaus Golf. This was a golf game. This is the last of the golf games on the Nintendo that I needed, so I picked it up. Quite excited for that. I honestly kind of like golf games on the Nintendo, so I'm excited to check this one out. I also got Vegas Dreams, which is a casino game. Pretty straightforward there. I also got High Speed, which says is the world's #1 pinball. It's an okay pinball game on the Nintendo. I also got Lunar Pool, which based on the name, you wouldn't think it was going to be actual pool. Also got another awesome sports title in Championship Bowling. It's bowling. Now of this batch, one that I was really excited for and shouldn't have been was Muppets Adventure Chaos at the Carnival. This is a horrible game. There's a bunch of mini games that are pretty trash. I'm sure there's people out there that love it, but based off that cover art, I was excited for it when I got it. I thought it was going to be like a platformer or something, and it's definitely not. And then strangely, the pick of the group from those stores was going to be World Games, which is actually pretty fun. There's some pretty cool games in here. They're all mini games, and there's a few of them that I definitely want to get back into and play some more, even if it's probably like 50-50 what's good and what's not very good. So there are more games that I guess I picked up in May, but I don't have those. Those are coming from some friends down the road, and we'll look at those on another pickups video, because that'll be like June and July pickup videos. If you're paying attention to where I'm going and what I'm doing, you can probably figure out when I'm picking those up. But I ended up getting some duplicates because of that in the mail when I got my retro game treasure box. Now there is a video for that, check it out as well. And I definitely fixed the problem there. So excited to not have this issue happen again. But I'm gonna include these retro game treasure ones in the April pickups because technically they came in just before the end of the month in April. Out of that, I got Hogan's Alley, which again, I already had picked up. It's a light gun game. Didn't get to play again. We've talked about this. I also got Cabal, which I talked about in that video and is a very odd game. He's very excited to beat a level. I got Wheel of Fortune, the Family Edition, and kind of the pick of the box on that one, Mock Rider, which again, sadly, I had already picked up from a friend and just didn't have my hot little hands yet. So I fixed that problem. I won't be getting duplicates for Nintendo anymore because I'm not getting Nintendo in there anymore. Also got one that I was super excited for was Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures. It is dubbed as a interactive cartoon, and I don't know how interactive it really was. He kind of just does what he wants till he's tired and then pouts about it. shortly after I opened that box, I was on the road again back to Calgary for Fan Expo Calgary 2024 and got a bunch of games there as well. So day one of Fan Expo, did some walking around, didn't see a lot of places with games. There was 2 booths, one big booth that I kind of committed to coming back and buying some more games from them later, and another booth that had a few Nintendo games, but we kind of missed a few others that had them in that first day because that Saturday at Fan Expo was crazy busy. So day one I got Rockin' Ball, which is a pinball game. Honestly, I think the other pinball game I got that month was probably a little better than Rockin' Ball. I also got Thunderbirds, which is basically a game based off of the TV show where they have the marionettes. Kind of looked like a shoot 'em up game and kind of didn't look that bad.
Thunderbirds are go.
I also got the Secret Scroll Flying Dragon, which I've heard this is a really good game, and I was excited to check it out. And then the one I was most excited for, took it off of my list, is Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Dragon Strike, which is kind of a shoot 'em up as you're a dragon, which I thought was going to be really cool. I was really excited for it, but turns out pick of that day is going to be Flying Dragon, because honestly, this is pretty fun. So back for day 2, we went for Todd McFarlane's autograph on Dustin's skateboards. We ended up standing in line for a very long time, but we had some fun in the line too, which wasn't really that bad. Met some nice people there. So day 2 pickups, I went back to a booth that I'd planned to go for on the Sunday, and I kind of committed. I told Dustin I was gonna get 30 games so I could hit the halfway mark. And then I realized how much 30 games was gonna cost me, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that. So I only went for 10. I got 10 more games on the Sunday. I got Fender 2, which I haven't checked these ones out yet. These ones are on the service desk, needing to be cleaned because literally this was 2 days ago I picked these up. I also got Mighty Bomber Jack, which I'm excited for this one because I think this is pretty good. I think it's like a Bomberman style game. Again, haven't had a chance to play this set yet. I got Load Runner, again, another one I'm excited to check out. I don't know if this is gonna be good. If you know in the comments on this set of games, let me know what your pick is gonna be for these ones. Because the other ones are definitely a pick that I think everyone would pick if they could. I also got the Mafia Conspiracy. No idea on this one either. If you know, let me know. So, Editor Screech here, and that's definitely the Moffat Conspiracy. I'm an idiot. I got Tetris 2. I guess that means I have to get Tetris 1, doesn't it? Speaking of games that made it so I have to get more in a set, I got Akari Warriors 2, which means I have to get Akari Warriors 1 and Akari Warriors 3, The Rescue. They did have Akari Warriors 3, but the copy they had looked like someone had to put some masking tape or something across it, peeled it off. So I'm taking that crispy top layer off. I just got this one, and I'm gonna have to get those other ones down the road. But it makes for fun stuff. I enjoy completing sets of Nintendo games, so those are gonna be on the hit list for down the road here. I picked up Pro Wrestling, which I believe I've heard is one of the better wrestling games on the system. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm sure I'll get told in the comments. I got Tecmo Baseball, added to that Tecmo line, and yeah, this is the second Tecmo game that I got this month. Haven't talked about the first one, so clearly it's coming up in a cool lot that I got. I got Swords and Serpents, and based off this cover art, this is one I've always wanted to play. I have no idea if it's gonna be any good. It's probably like one of those first-person point-and-click games, like Dungeons & Dragons type of game, but I guess I'll find out soon. I'm probably completely wrong there. And then for what I would say would be my pick of this set, is gonna be Dustin's favorite game. I got this because I knew it was Dustin's favorite game. I got Batman. I am ashamed to say that I don't remember this game. I know I've played it. It's one of Dustin's favorite games on the NES, and I'm excited to check it out. I know a lot of people hold this one in high regard, so I know I've played it, I just don't remember it, which I feel like that's sad. So that's everything I got at Fan Expo over the weekend. Fan Expo was different. It's not like a video game convention. I wouldn't consider it a Comic-Con either. Based on the fact that there was literally like 7 places I could buy a metal sword, and then another 4 that I could buy a lightsaber. Yeah, there's a lot of Funkos there and a lot of weaponry. Very few game booths. There was 4 I ended up finding. 2 bigger game booths, that's kind of all they had was video games, and then 2 that had like DVDs and stuff like that, and video games kind of a little bit sprinkled in there. But honestly, it was kind of fun. Again, met some really fun people. Really enjoyed that aspect of it. And yeah, I will probably go to Edmonton when it comes and check it out again. Now this brings us to the coolest moment of my April in regards to the channel. Probably the coolest moment for all of April, to be honest with you, for me just in general. Now I had a subscriber reach out to me on Instagram, Kenner's Superpowers Collector. He reached out and said that he had a bunch of duplicates for NES games, and he was wondering if I was interested, and of course I was. So he sent me a picture of the games he had. I sent him back a list, and we kind of arranged to meet up that Saturday. Now, shortly after I'd picked up those McDonald's toys and posted that picture on Instagram, I got a text message from him saying that there was a toy show on the Saturday morning. So we kind of shifted our plans, and I met him at the toy show. We got to tour around, got to visit, and it was so much fun. Such a cool guy. I had such a fun time visiting with him. Ended up going back to his place so he could show me his toy collection, his toy museum, which was awesome. He has so many Nintendo games, so many cool items. We're definitely gonna try to get in there and maybe take a look at what he has. So I give him the opportunity to show you his collection. It was phenomenal. The stuff he has, it blew my mind. Some of the stuff that he was telling me about was amazing. I had such a fun time. Honestly, made a really good friend out of that interaction. So glad he reached out to me. And he had some really awesome games for me to pick up. I got Thundercade, which is a super interesting game. I honestly sucked at it. I got blown up by people right away. Instantly destroyed. Now here's that first one I added in the series. I got Tecmo Super Bowl, which I'm told by some really cool people that this is the best football game on the Nintendo. So I played it, and yeah, I think I agree. I'm not a big football person, but I actually had fun playing this on the Nintendo. This was definitely better than some of the other football games on the Nintendo I have played. So I'm excited to dig into this a little bit more, maybe get some friends over and play it, and have a really fun time with this one. I also picked up Kings of the Beach, which this one here is a really cool volleyball game. Really excited to have this one in my collection. I know there's a few people out there that think this is awesome, and if you're watching this, I assume you know who you are. I got Crash and the Boys Street Challenge. This is super cool. Honestly, if there wasn't something epic in this stack of games, this one probably would have been my pick of this set for some reason. I just really enjoyed this one. I liked that it was like the River City Ransom characters. This is a super cool game, really difficult, and once you start with the events, you're gonna be like, wow, this takes a little bit, but honestly, a lot of fun. I got Kiko Cubicle, and I know a lot of people really love this one. This is again a super fun game. This stack of games, a lot of really fun ones in here. So I'm super excited that I was able to pick all of these ones up. Another one that he had for me that he threw in because the cartridge is actually cracked, but I did some quick super glue work and fixed it, is gonna be Dragon's Lair. Now this is one, I understand that this game is cracked across the front here. I don't know if you can, I did such a good job that you can kind of see that crease right there. So it's cracked across the front there. I did a pretty good job getting her back together. And this is one I will keep forever because again, it's from him and that means a lot to me. Cracked or not, I'm really glad that he reached out and I ended up picking up this game. Now this one, I had Dragon's Lair as a kid and I have never, ever made it across the drawbridge. Until now, I finally made it across the drawbridge and I literally did it, figured it out, and then said out loud, sitting in this very chair, I said, well, that took me 30 years to complete. Level 1, Dragon's Lair, took me 30 years to get through it. Because honestly, I had it as a kid, I couldn't do it, hated it, I literally never played it after the first few times, and I finally completed that, only to basically instantly die in the next area. I think I made it like halfway through the next area before I was like, and that's enough of that for right now. But I'm gonna get into it. I swear I'm gonna play this further than level 2. I also got another awesome game that we will definitely be talking about soon. Super Off-Road. I got this one from him, and then we ended up picking another copy of this up at Fan Expo for Dustin because he loves this game as well. So make sure you tune in next week and we will take a look further at Super Off-Road. Got another light gun game, added Wild Gunman to the set, and yes, this just means that I absolutely, positively have to get set up so I can use light gun properly. All right, I've strung you along long enough. We're gonna take a look at the most epic game I got in the month of April. The best game of all of April pickups is gonna be Power Blade. Yeah, there was totally foreshadowing. I'm so excited. I played this a little bit, really enjoyed it. And then during the filming of this video, I realized I'm kind of an idiot and I've got a Nintendo Power with a walkthrough for this, which means I get to experience Power Blade almost kind of as it was intended by Nintendo back in the day. I'm gonna bust out that Nintendo Power. I'm gonna read through it as I play this, exactly how I would have done it when I was a kid if I had both the copy of Nintendo Power and the game. This one I'm really excited for. This is 100% the best pickup I got in April.